Welcome everybody to UROC 365 webinar series to grow your business. Today we have two special guest speakers. We have Helen Belsidis from Solidify, and then we have Rana Namdar from Bank of Montreal. Helen is going to be talking to us about appraisals in this 2020 crisis, and we have Rana who's going to be talking to us about the special relief program from the Bank of Montreal. And this event is hosted by Dr. Alex Ahanchan, General Manager of United Realty of Canada. A little bit about the housekeeping. If any of the realtors, if you have questions, please visit our website uroc365.com and click on one of those buttons, the black, the red, or the blue button related to, if you have questions related to real estate or pre-construction or just realtors in general about real estate. Also, some of our hot topics on the website we have is the recorded webinar on how to build your client database. And also on Friday, we have a very special webinar, which is the 10 golden rules of following up with leads, which is on Friday at 8 p.m. So please make sure that you register and attend some of these events. I also like to thank Mr. Pat Javdan, broker of record of the United Realty of Canada, and Dr. Alex Ahanchan, General Manager of United Realty of Canada, for being the gracious sponsors and supporters of this webinar series. I want to talk a little bit also about Rana Namdar. She is going to be the feature speaker today for Bank of Montreal, and Rana has been in the Canadian banks, working with the Canadian banks for the last 7 years, and she's been with the Bank of Montreal for the last 3 years as a mortgage specialist. And then we have Helen Belsidis from Solidify Canada, and they are in the appraisal business for the last 20 years as in the software as a service business. Helen is in business development and sales, and she is currently the regional director in Ontario for Solidify. So, and she's also been working with TerraNet and FNF. So you can start right now. So if you want, I can actually put your Helen or Rana. Rana, you want to start?
That's fine. Yes, I'll go first if you don't mind.
Okay. And just let me know when you want me to put on your PowerPoint presentation.
Sure, yeah, if you can do so right now on the main page, that would be great. I would start off with an introduction of the team. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Mr. Javdan. Thank you for Dr. Ahanchan. It's always a pleasure working with you all. And I have the pleasure of having the presence of my VP Vice President, Ida Mora for North York, and also our Regional Vice President, Jared Sanika. So I would start off with that, but before I do that, I would just quickly ask Jared and Ida if they would like to add something for an introduction here. If not, we would leave it for the end for them to add anything they want to my presentation. I think they're mute though.
Let me check.
Yeah.
I want to just say welcome everybody, and especially Rana, Helen, Ida, and Jared from Bank of Montreal. Always Bank of Montreal so very prestigious and kind with us. Thank you so much. I don't want to get your time right now. At the end, I have just few questions for just maybe 10 minutes, and I will ask those questions. Just starting, Rana, with you or Helen?
We would start with me, if it's possible.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Okay then. So
thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
No problem. Today we basically, I would like to talk about what is BMO, who we are. Even though I know that we don't need an introduction. I mean, BMO as a bank doesn't need an introduction. It's a 200 years old bank, and I'm a proud employee of them. But we will briefly tell you who we are and what we do, and we take it from there. And I'll talk about the support that we provide in this COVID-19 and how we were coping and what we are doing to assist with any financial needs that clients might have. Yeah, if you can, Jerry, move to the second slide, I can start off from there. Thank you. We're here to provide advice and support your clients and teams on for personal well-being. And what I will be covering in today's discussion are the topics that you're looking at I'll be briefly talking about the overview of BMO's relief program and digital banking options that clients can have during this pandemic and COVID-19 situation. We will be talking about overview of the Canadian Federal Relief Program that I'm pretty sure that here and there everybody heard about it and about what the government covers, but we had listed it for you, and I will briefly go through them as well. I will be speaking about the community and personal well-being and best practices that we had, and we will talk about the economic outlook and how the future of this market will look like. So, yeah, Jerry, if you can go to next slide, please. Thank you. So, first of all, we are here to help, and that's the most important thing for us, and we mean it. Doesn't matter if you are not as available as always in the branch to assist you. That doesn't change the fact that we're here to help you even from a distance. But believe me, as closer as ever. Special thanks to technology and all these available channels that we have in hand. In terms of what's going on in the market and news, I will share some personal opinion, which does not basically, it's not a decision ground, but I fully understand that this is an unusual time, and we are trying to respond as much as possible and put our clients and customers first, and help them to help them in any way we can. We are in business as always to help our clients. BMO has been in the market for 200 years, and we've been through numerous occasions and unexpected situations like this. We have been through, like, even I think perhaps Second World War, and also what BMO is still continuing to help in any way we can. So when you are partnering with a strong company like BMO, you will build your business and referral with a solid platform, and that is, I believe, it's very reassuring, and it can be very good for you as a realtor. BMO's commitment to Canadians and commitment to business and commitment to employees and commitments to clients are completely inspiring in our idea, and BMO will continue to adapt and evolve to this changing environment. And I assure you that you and your customers' well-being, both personally and financially, is not only my top priority, but the entire BMO team and the branches team and mortgage specialist and special sales group out there. So Jerry, if you can change the slide for me, that would be great. I talk about what solutions we've got. So BMO has solutions to help with short-term financial hardship, and also we provide alternative ways of banking. So as you can see on these two sections on this slide, we offer financial relief programs, and we also offer virtual banking options. I just want to quickly touch on our financial relief program and also the virtual banking option. It's exciting to utilize our banking system on the phone applications website, and believe me, it did not exist 10 years ago. And but special thanks to technology, all of these sources are now available to us and very user friendly. For the financial relief program, it's a popular hot topic nowadays, and you wouldn't believe how many calls I received when this started, asking for all these relief programs that we had. And all the details can also be found on our BMO website. I'll be talking about them, but they're always they're also available on bmo.com/COVID-19. This is what BMO did at the very early stage of the pandemic, and what we have is tailored to each individual circumstances. This may include the deferral mortgage payments, loan or credit card payments for the next 6 months, for up to 6 months. And I bet whoever had a mortgage tried to call in and see if they can defer it, which is sorry. Hi.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yep.
So this is an option still available. So if you have a client reaching out to you asking for that, you can always refer them to me, or you can ask them to log into BMO website and read the details about it. We have increased debit card limits to provide greater flexibility for payments and withdrawals. And we have options for current current existing client to skip a payment or on their mortgage cash accounts. Also, we are offering access to Canada Emergency Business Account and other small businesses cash flow option. Of course, there are some details to it, but because I want to be mindful of the time, I won't go through that, but if there's any question, please feel free to reach out. There are also virtual banking options, and what we mean by that is an online COVID-19 banking support tool, which you can find on the BMO website /COVID-19. We have the largest Canadian network of ATMs for cash access. So necessarily just that the bank being closed doesn't mean that you don't have access to ATMs. They're up and running. We have top-rated mobile banking applications. It's user-friendly. Even though I am majority of time, apart from this COVID-19, I'm at branch, but believe me, I always do everything that I do for banking on my BMO BMO mobile app. Virtual document signing options for new or existing customers is another thing that we introduced. So a client does not necessarily have to go in person to the branch. Virtual signature and virtual signing is now available for the convenience of the clients. We have virtual enrollment via online or mobile to set up direct deposits for CRA benefits. And I bet if you, I know that for a fact that as soon as you log into your online banking and on your mobile app, it pops up, the message pops up that you can set up your deposit account for CRA benefits there. It's very easy. It's there. So please make sure that you refer your clients there if there was anything with regards to this. And of course, we have the coast-to-coast network of specialists, and I'm one proud mortgage specialist out of 900 across Canada. And so we are here to help anytime that is possible and accessible, available 24/7. So, Jerry, I need you to please move to next slide. Thank you. But this is an overview of the federal relief program. I believe a majority of you for sure read through that, heard it, you looked it up on social media and news. Everywhere is talking about them, but I will quickly go that. I'm not certified to talk about this program, but just want to share with you that the government is together with us in this to help. And the details of the program are this Canada Emergency Response Benefit, which offers a $2,000 a month for up to 4 months. There is a Canada Child Benefit. There's a special goods and services credit payments. You can take a photo of this because it's offered on a variety of resources, but you can take a snapshot so you have all of them there. And there's an income tax deferral, which has been deferred until June 1st, 2020. So if you have to file your taxes, it's been extended to June 1st. And there's a student, seniors, and indigenous people programs. There's for businesses or small businesses, there's a Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, which covers 70% of an employee's wages for employers. There is a temporary 10% of wage subsidy, Canada Emergency, that's business account, and payments deferrals. I think that the most important one is the payment deferral program, because it gives the opportunity and the time to pay income taxes, deferral of sale tax remittance, and customs duty payments. It gives the opportunity to business holders to use those options and delay it until this situation is over. And a full list of government support programs, eligibility guidelines, and details can be found at www.canada.ca. But we just wanted to, again, make sure that you know that BMO is along with the government, as in this, together with government, to help you in any possible way that we can. Jerry, if you can move to next slide, please. Thank you. So for sure, there are some best practices that I want to share with you. I have also integrated some of the practices into my own daily routine. For example, the social distancing and stay hydrated. Social distancing is particularly very different to me, very difficult to me, because those people who know me, they know that I'm a huggy person. I always hug my clients, hug my realtors, and that's been a very difficult situation for me to do, to observe the social distancing. But nevertheless, it's for our own health, and we're observing that. I bet you do that too. But we shall all try our best to maintain our personal, physical, and mental health. So I think as a community, what we can do is just to check in on family and friends and those most vulnerable. We can donate to local food banks. We can respect social distancing, staying at home, and prevent community spreading. We can get together virtually, keep participating in the community using virtual meeting options. On this particular last one, I think now we can, what I've been doing is that with other couples, me and my partner, we always log in online and with all of us talk virtually. It's a different experience, but at least we are so fortunate to have the technology available to us to run this. On a personal side of it, you can stay hydrated and eat clean. You can be active, go for walks and exercise at home. And there are a variety of those videos out there on social media and internet that you can choose and watch to know how to work out from home. You can practice mindfulness techniques and meditations. You can revisit an old hobby, or for me, it was reading, and connect with friends and loved ones, develop and maintain a routine. So again, it's a difficult situation. We are all in this together, and but I know there are ways that it can keep us going, and it's important for all of us to observe this. So hopefully we can soon flatten the curve and put an end to this pandemic. All right, Jerry, next slide, please. This slide, okay, yeah, this one. This slide shows a prediction from BMO Economics, basically 4 shapes, V, U, W, and L. But in general, when the pandemic is over, we shall be back to business as normal. So since social distancing is working, as some professionals predict, we might already pass the peak of virus, but of course it's not for me to give an idea. But this is on BMO Economics, which shared this 4 possible trends as GDP adjusts and business returns to normal. So the key points are on this one is that March was month of March was a fascinating month as the spring season ramped up ahead of COVID-19 outbreak. In the first half of the month, Canada's housing market, and especially the 3 biggest cities, were priming themselves for a charge run through the spring selling season. The second half of the month, we saw activity shot in by the COVID-19 outbreak and ramping lockdowns across the country over the final 2 weeks of March. And the April numbers will give us a cleaner picture of how things really stand when the big cities start reporting their numbers in the first few days of May and this coming week. In the theme of that you can see on this one, both sales and listings are declined, and this is the one we could see across the other major markets through the lockdown, but the impact of the prices might be muted for now. So I know you know better than me that the inventory is pretty low and limited now. I've been trying to keep an eye on the listings and all, but the inventory is very limited. But nevertheless, there are federal support and mortgage deferral programs which will help keep homeowners at least in their homes, and hopefully they would be limiting forced sellings and assuming the economy and jobs come back in timeline as expected, hopefully. But when we think of the recovery and the new normal, our BMO Economics team see 4 possible models that I just explained and refer to us as 4 letters of recovery, which are on the slides. So in the majority of the cases, we anticipate the economy will return close to normal, and which indicates that the interruptions we were dealing with will not be the case in the future, hopefully. And Jerry, thank you. If you can move to the next slide.
Yeah, no problem, Rana. We have about 10 more minutes, so
all right,
I know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm almost done. I'll make it fast. Okay. 10 all right. 10 more minutes for me, or including Helen?
No, including Helen, because we
oh
only have a 30.
Okay,
yes.
So I make it very fast. So the BMO Mortgage Specialist Advantage. As I said, it's 900 mortgage specialists, and we are ready to educate and guide your clients and yourself with commitment-free advice throughout the entire home purchase process. We are available, accessible, and via email, via phone, and all the information that I will provide on the next slides. Previously, I was saying that we are remote, so we can always be anywhere you want, at the brokerage or at your office or at the bank branch, but this is not applicable to the time being. So if you can move to the next slide. Our customer experience is our ultimate measurements, and what we mean by that, it means that we're here to help you, ensuring that BMO mortgage expertise is as seamless, convenient, and simple as possible. There are steps to this procedure. Mr. Ahanchin worked with me on numerous applications, so he knows how it works. But first, we chat, we review the application, and we submit the applications with the documentations. Appraisal will be conducted, and then hopefully everything moves on so smoothly that clients can get the keys to their dream home. And next slide, please. And my last slide is about the offer, the current offer that's currently going on. And Jerry, it's the next slide. If you could please move, that would be great.
Yeah, just hold on.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, we are currently offering, currently running our special spring campaign. And what happens is that if you apply for a new mortgage or switch to BMO and get a term of 5 years fixed, we are offering 1 month of mortgage payment refunded to you on the advance date. It's a great opportunity because it means an extra cash in your pocket or your client's pocket, and it means that you're basically skipping 1 mortgage payment. Not only you're skipping 1 mortgage payment, but you get it back in your bank accounts. So if you know someone, if you have a client that are thinking to purchase, they can always apply for a pre-approval with the bank. We guarantee the rate for 130 days, and of course this option is available on our website. You can log in and read through the details. And the next slide is my last, which holds my information. And if you need to reach out to me, that's my my phone number and my email address. And due to COVID-19, I obviously look very different from that photo. And that would be it for me, really, because I know we are short in time. These are the links that you can take a photo and look up later. But I would like to take over to Helen so she can cover the appraisal part. Thank you very much, everyone.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to put on Helen right now. Hi, Helen, can you? Hi, Helen, can you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Love connecting with my BMO partners. I'll be really quick here, and you can refer to the, I know you're short on time, but I know you can refer to the presentation. This is for you all to share. So let's just jump right in. First and foremost, COVID-19, of course, COVID-19 world has affected, of course, everyone's aspect of their lives. I do want to assure you, however, that 97% of the appraisal process has actually remained the same. So there's some good news to that. And the 3% that has changed is with regards to the client engagement, and we can actually turn that around and make that a win in the, in the banking world. So Rana and the team, of course, specialists at BMO will be able to actually prepare their clients to make sure that this appraisal process is seamless. You can jump into the next slide. Right. Yeah. So here's a quick overview, but again, I'm going to jump right into the appraisal process. Okay, so you can skip to the next slide. Yeah, first slide. This is just some background on the appraisal world. They're all designated professionals. Again, for the purpose of time, maybe we'll just skip over and we'll just jump right into the process, but you can refer to that later. These are all of our partners, of course, BMO being, all the big banks, and BMO, of course, being one of our really strong partners. You can jump to the next one. Thank you. So the overview, as I mentioned, or just to talk about the appraisals in general, the key point here really is I want to talk about the 97% of the process is the same. Right now, a mortgage professional, when and if an appraisal is required, they would utilize us, all the big banks, of course, and BMO being, a really close major partner. When they utilize us, You're then protected. We're doing all of the work with the appraisers in terms of coaching. We're ensuring that when the appraisal is needed, we're following up, and we're ensuring that everything runs smoothly. So the appraisal firm would accept that order, and at this, they would be submitting their preliminary data and their researching. And again, this has not changed, whether due to COVID, and once it's hopefully over, or once it's over, it will not change. Okay. So in terms of the biggest change, as I mentioned, was the appointment setting and the actual interior inspection. So at this point now, the modified full is adopted by all of the major banks, and BMO was the first one to act. So thank you, BMO. And they recognize the importance of this and how to keep business moving. So that's really an important factor there that I want to outline. So you can jump to the next slide. Thank you. Yep, you can just jump to the next slide after the overview. Yeah, thanks. How can realtors assist this process? I'll talk about that, and as quickly again, what is the new modified full appraisal, what your clients, what everybody needs to know. Right now, I think the most important thing, and this again is pre and post, but of COVID, is that realtors can assist the process, working with a mortgage professional, by allowing the time for financing conditions. Keep in mind that an appraisal may be required, and as such, as a listing agent, help sellers understand what the appraisal that the appraisal process is an important part of the transaction, of the real estate transaction, and without it, the deal may not close, right? As a buyer's agent, they can understand the risks of overpaying and competition. And again, these are just things that I wanted to get put out there. You can refer to this, of course, as well, and speak to Rana on these things anytime. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So how is value determined? Again, I'll go back to the fact that the appraisal process has not fundamentally changed. At the preliminary work that's done, the appraisal process in the past was a couple of, anywhere from 5 minutes in a condo to 30 minutes, let's say, in a larger home. And at this point, the data and the research and all of the analysis is the same. The visit is the only thing that has changed. So value is determined really by the direct comparison approach, and involves the 90-day comparables and making the necessary adjustments. Okay. And in terms of what that means, working at Terranet in the past, and many of you, of course, I'm sure using maybe Geo Warehouse or having access to data, MLS, etc. That they would have their versions, if you will, of that data, and they'd be able to access the recent listings and sold properties, but they focus on the sold properties that are close to the subject property, okay? And in that case, that's lender driven. So of course, with one lender and another, there could be a minor difference, meaning, with BMO, for example, it's a kilometer, 1.5 kilometers. Again, I'm just putting it out there. This is not a real number. And then with another bank, it could be, 2 kilometers in an area. So that slight difference, they're very similar, but they have very slight differences with regards to the appraisal guidelines. Why? Because the appraisers are guided by their, like we're regulated by FSRA, okay, the Financial Services Regulatory Association. They're regulated by their regulatory bodies, okay? So they have that, but then they are also following when they're doing appraisal, they have to follow the lender guidelines, and those may be a little different. You can jump to the next slide. Thank you. So, yeah, thank you. There's different types of appraisals, so let's go over that quickly. So now, of course, there's the modified full that I talked about, but that's really just the full appraisal. Modified now in the sense of there's client engagement. There's no, due to physical distancing, there's no appraiser going into that property for safety and for the health reasons, of course. So the different types that exist in the appraisal world are in general all full service, of course, or modified full. There's also market with a Schedule A, market rent or rental income, of course. There's an as is and an as complete, so a purchase plus improvements, for example. There's also what's called a desktop and a drive-by, which are extremely similar. Main difference is desktop, exactly how it sounds, all of the work of the appraiser, no impact on the client. This is pre or post COVID. This is strictly from the data. As you can, just to go back to what I'm saying again, this is why, as I mentioned, 97% of the process really hasn't changed much, because these all existed prior, right, to this pandemic. And a desktop and a drive-by are identical. They're a reduced type of appraisal. And these are only to be used or would only come into effect when there's a smaller or a lesser percentage of appraisals that meet the criterion of the bank and the lenders, okay, where there's maybe a lot of money down, etc. Clients qualify and the risk is lessened, right? These are they provide ranges of as opposed to an exact value of that property. So they're not used all the time. And also the desktop and drive-by don't have this in-depth analysis and all the adjustments, but they do provide, of course, that range of value, okay? And in some certain cases that might be, that would work. And again, these are things that the lender has worked really hard with and that they would together, BMO and us, would determine, okay? And that's predetermined in the system. Drive-by difference than the desktop is literally they are going to the site and they are in their car and seeing that there's bricks, and that is, of course, a condo or a home. An AVM model, I think you guys all know what that means. That's again just a different type of appraisal. It's not an appraisal. It's a quick the automated value. So that's just all technology. Okay, you can jump to the next slide. So let's talk about full inspections. And basically, I mean, this is fairly quickly. This is full inspection, and then the next slide is basically about what's happening in COVID times and what your clients can expect. Essentially, prior to COVID, there, as I mentioned, 97% of the appraisal process is still the same, but that 3% that changed was exactly this. There was a visit. It was 10 to 30 minutes. 5 minutes, I would say, even for a smaller condo. They would go to each room in the house. They would take pictures of the property from the exterior. They'd have to go in the daylight hours. So they'd have to go in the front, take a street view, picture of the front, picture of the back, picture of each room. And there's all guidelines and AIC, Appraisal Institute of Canada guidelines of what the pictures that are now needed for COVID times, okay? They would conduct zoning, they would do all their checks and balances. All of this is still being done right now, minus the visit. You can jump to the next slide. And in the next slide, I talk about what's happening now in COVID times. Okay?
Helen, we have about 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So this is, I guess, the most important slide, which is the last one, so the COVID slide. And the other info that I have is really just on values and stuff like that, which you guys can keep and how they might change. Yeah, I think you're still clear. Inspection in COVID times. So the most important thing you have to know is that the clients will be informed. So if your mortgage specialist will, you don't have to worry about anything. They've been informed of what has happened and how it's changed. And the appraisers are also informing directly the client what's required. And I've listed that here, that they're going to be participating. The clients, of course, are being engaged and having to take the photos of what's required for the bank and supply them to the appraiser. And they still will do all their analysis. So it's really just that photo factor, if you will. You jump to the next slide, and I think that's it. This is just a nice detailed list of what the client can expect, okay? And that's all the photos, and that they're not gonna come in their property, etc. There's an appointment made, but there's no contact. They're not, addressing the client. They're not having to be outside, so there's no worries about that. And again, this is the engagement in what I've advised my lenders as well, is that it's a great opportunity for Rana and team, for example, and individuals to just kind of give them the expectation, but the appraiser will be notifying them. Okay, so this is kind of the new normal. And I guess that's it for me. These that list there, or any of this information, of course, you can look into it in more detail at your convenience. And that's I just want to thank you for the opportunity again. I've put in a couple of slides here. I was going to just quickly talk to that, but I know we're short on time. But I just talked about, I put in some slides for turnaround times and rushes and requests, and what adds value and some common myths. But this is stuff that you can use as a takeaway. Okay, so I think the most important message I just want to say is that your partners are here for you. This was lovely to participate in, and so thank you, Rana. Thank you you all for giving me the opportunity. Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Helen. That was appreciate that. Because of lack of time, we still have maybe about a minute, but I think we are going to wrap up right now. Alex, and Rana and Pat, do you guys have to make any last-minute comments?
Yeah. Any question?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much. I'm sorry that I have interruption. I don't have any sound or something like at least 15 minutes. I don't have any sound. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
We sent our questions because we don't have enough time. Just I want to say thank you for all that participate in this webinar. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us. Ida, is there anything, or Jared, is there anything you want to add?
Just wanted to thank you for your time. Great job, Helen and Rana. We're here to support, so don't be a stranger. Let us know how we can support you, and we'd be happy to coordinate.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Ida?